Joining us in the Movieland Spotlight is Isabella Gomez, an actor known for their role in the upcoming horror The Mannequin. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in the film industry and who inspired you?
Oh my God. Yeah. I started around 6 years old. I was like not a proper child actor, and that I didn't work that much as a child, but started super young. I was born and raised in Colombia, and my mom's best friend at the time was in the industry. And they were casting this commercial, and they couldn't find a girl. They couldn't find her. And I was a very precocious child. I was an only child, very loud, I loved being the center of attention. So my mom's friend was like, can you just bring her in and see if this works? And I fell in love with it. Being on set was the most magical experience. And so when we moved to the States, I was 10, and we actually lived like 2 blocks down from an acting studio. And my mom was like, as soon as I learn English, I will take you over there. So like 3 months later, I went down and took every class they offered. And that's how I started getting my management and my agents. And the rest is kind of history. I've just kind of always done it.
It's amazing. Yeah. Well, is horror a type of genre you've always wanted to work with, or did you just pop up out of nowhere?
So I always loved horror movies, especially like when I was a young teenager. The Paranormal Activity movies
Yeah.
marked me so much. But funnily enough, when I got my agents that I have now, I sat down with them and I was like, I will never do anything like not horror, but like anything that has to do with demons, anything that has to do with that kind of stuff. I was like super superstitious. And it was actually John Bardo who directed The Mannequin, was also a friend who I had done a previous horror with that wasn't supernatural. And he handed me the script for The Mannequin, and I was like, you know what? I have to do it. And now I love it so much. And like, it's funny because I'm usually known for either sitcoms or horror, and people are like, that's a big leap. And I'm like, not at all. Like, what's the same thing about both genres is that the stakes are so high. And so
Yeah.
I love it. I love getting to be big and loud.
That's great. We covered how the film came about, but say it's movie night. How do you pitch The Mannequin for someone to watch as a recommendation?
Ooh, I would pitch it as, here's a horror that combines several of the typical genres of horror movies. We have both the supernatural and the serial killer vibe. And I think it's pretty cool that it's an urban setting. I feel like you rarely get to
Yeah.
see that with horror. And the fishbowl effect of it is really interesting and really creepy.
I love this film when I really didn't think I was going to. It's so much more than just it's so much more than just a spooky mannequin, which like the cover kind of presents as out to be. But I
Really?
spoke to John Bardo, the director, recently, and he described it as Sex in the City with a ghost story. And I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it really helped everybody that the 4 main girls were all actually great friends. And specifically, Gabriella, who played my sister, and we were living together at the time. She's my best friend. And so
Yeah.
we are such a close-knit group that it does give it does give Sex in the City. I've never heard John say that before.
Yeah, that was great performances from the whole cast. I can definitely see the chemistry there. And I loved Maxwell as well, especially in the third acts there. And the possessions, like they were very well done. How did you prepare yourself for that bloody mess, basically?
I was so excited for the bloody mess. Like, the only preparation was like, don't giggle out of delight in the middle of a take. Because this was a super low budget indie. So we shot the entire movie in 12 days, which is no time at all for a film. So most of our scenes, we only got 2-3 takes. And for the blood, we only had the one outfit. And so really
Right.
the first take needed to work, and then we could get like coverage later. But the actual like her getting the first blood on her needed to just be
Yeah.
a one take. So I was pretty locked in that regard. When you're working with like that small of a crew and a cast, and you know that like you get the one shot, you just kind of laser focus and lock in. But I was stoked. I was so excited. And in the previous movie that I had made with John, I got to be covered in a little bit of blood, and it's so sticky, is what people don't tell you. The fake movie blood is like, it'll like shut your eyes closed. And I was excited to be covered in that.
Yeah, that was a great scene, and especially when you wake up, you're like, "What?" And that was great.
Totally.
Yeah, no, you so you've worked with John twice now. What was it like working with him on this one?
I loved it. I working with people who you know and trust, and also people who like, there's a lot of the industry, to me anyway, is proving yourself. You just constantly have to show people that you can do the job that they're looking at you for, or that they hired you for. And with John, because it was their second time around, there wasn't that pressure. I didn't have to come into set needing to prove myself to anybody. And that gives you so much freedom to actually play and to actually be in character, in scene, and to be fully present as the person you're playing instead of worrying about your career or what's next or whatever. And like I said, the girls and I are great friends. And so it was just I always say it was like summer camp. It was the most fun, delightful, like time. It didn't feel like we were making a movie for anybody. It felt like we were doing a thing for ourselves.
You've done horror and now ghosts with John. Are you eagerly waiting to see what third thing he slides across the table for you, or is this something you don't think
We
is going to
talk
be
about it.
reoccurring? Yeah.
Oh, we talk about it. Oh, yes. John is very much one of those creatives that loves working with his people. Like a lot of the people from behind the scenes of both the Mannequin and our previous one were people he's been working with since college. So I'm sure that there will be little things for me in his upcoming projects, but I know that he's writing one that I don't think I get to say much about, but it's kind of for the same cast. And
All right.
it's insane. It's insane. I think we're like upping the ante every time. And this third one will be psychotic.
Got to give it its own little trilogy name. Like they
I
got
know.
the,
I'm
what
like,
is it, the Cornetto trilogy or something.
yeah.
Well, what are you hoping audiences will take away from watching The Mannequin?
This is funny, but the world as a whole, and I don't know how it is on your side of the world, but you know, in the United States, everything is very heavy. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff going on politically, and I think that being able to submerge yourself in art and be able to get taken away to another world is such a treat. And with this one, it's just like remembering that there is levity and laughter, even in the scariest of things, and like finding that joy and finding ways to decompress and to have a giggle with a friend, even in the midst of trauma, is so important for your long term mental health. And I think the girls in this movie are very good at like, oh, we're being haunted. And also, let's talk about boob massages. And I think that, you know, we all need it. We all need a little bit of laughter and giggles in our life right now.
I was going to put that as one of the questions, but I left it out. So I'm glad you brought it up.
I'll always bring it up.
Is that like one of John's written in, or was that just a funny joke you guys were throwing in?
Oh, that was John. That was all John writing that in, please. Most of the things that got thrown in are Hazel's character. She
Okay.
is so good at ad libs and like little buttons for scenes. So anything that was like actor added, usually Hazel.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like there was a lot of fun on the set, as you said, but what was your favorite moment working on this set?
I think my favorite moment was the axe scene for so many reasons. The first one being, while we were shooting this movie, while we were shooting this movie, I was also opening a play. So I would go on stage, and it was a comedy, and do that. And then I wouldn't even stay for curtain, and I would go straight to set and join them in the middle of their workday because we were doing night shoots. And so for this one, I had just come from doing a comedy on stage. And again, we're working very quickly. We have 1 to 2 takes. They're filming something, and they put Maxwell and I to the side with our stunt coordinator, who was incredible. And she's showing me how to use the axe. For one, I use glasses at night. For two, I had these like white contacts in for the possession moment of it all. And so I couldn't see anything at all. And they're like, okay, here's the axe. So it is a prop axe, but the thing about it is that when we were like testing it out, they were testing it on a mat to see how hard it hit. It went through the mat. So it's not sharp, but it is a weapon. And they were like, if you hit him in the clavicle, it'll break it. So don't. And here's how you hit with an axe, and ready, and you have 7 minutes before we yell action. And I'm not usually coordinated. I didn't grow up being an athlete, nothing like that. And there's something about movie magic, man, that like locked me in, and I was like, okay, we have 2 takes for this. Let's do it. Let's not kill Max, who was like not only in the movie but was also producing it. So it's like we really can't have him be injured. And he was trying to be like tough boy, and he's like, just hit me as hard as you can. I don't care. And I was like, bro, I will break your bones. Like, relax. And it worked out. It worked out. Our incredible stunt coordinator just made it make so much sense and kept us so safe. And it looked great and nobody got hurt. And I felt like such a boss. And so I loved that.
The stress of that story just made me think of Titanic when Rose is trying to get Leo's handcuffs. And it's like, try to hit the same spot, Rose.
Literally.
Way off.
And you're like, we are not actors. We
Oh,
are actors.
I'm glad it worked out. And yeah, it's a total boss scene. Love that scene so much. So it did very well.
Heck yeah.
So The Mannequin is now available to watch on DVD and digital. Check it out. We highly recommend checking it out. It's so much fun and I think you have a wild time. But yeah, what is next for you after The Mannequin?
Ooh. So currently right now, you can see me on season 3 of Shrinking on Apple TV. That's slowly coming out week to week. And it has been, I mean, working on a show that Harrison Ford is in, even if you're not in any scenes with them, you're like, oh, I made it. Like, I can, Mom, we did it, and we can retire now. So you can see me on there, and who knows? I can't say anything else about anything else right now, but keep it tuned, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I can.
Here at Movieland, we love recommending movies and can never get enough to watch. Can you give us 6 movies, old, new, sky's the limit, to recommend?
6 movies. Okay, my current favorite, Sinners. Duh.
Oh,
I just rewatched it again in theaters. It's perfect.
Yes, it is.
50 First Dates.
Yeah.
Also a perfect film. Right now, as a nod to Eric Dane, who just passed, Burlesque, I think, is kind of an underrated movie. It's so good. It's Cher. It's like all of the icons being so hot and sexy. Yes. Barbarian. Oh
yeah.
I loved Barbarian. I thought it was so, so good. Titanic. You mentioned Titanic, and Titanic actually is my favorite movie. I've seen it maybe upwards of 20 times. So like Titanic is always a good one. Inside Out too. I think a lot of people could really benefit from being explained to them how their emotions work and how like our brains create memories and beliefs. And it's a good one. Don't knock an animated film.
I can't knock it. I love the first one, but the second one, I think anxiety, while it should be addressed, kind of ruined the film for me a bit too much. Just too much crazy.
Anxiety usually ruins our lives. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. But I just don't want to entertain myself with it.
Yeah, totally.
Well, last question for you. What is your go-to snack at the cinema from the candy bar?
I usually do popcorn. If I'm in Colombia, I'll do kettle corn, but the kettle corn in the States is not as good. So like butter popcorn. Dibs, have to have dibs. And then some sort of sour candy, usually a Sour Patch or some sort of like a jelly bean kind of vibe.
Sounds good. Well, I really appreciate you joining me today. I wish you all best with the future work and looking forward to what you come out with.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.